at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, and we take junk and things that are next to junk and we turn it into home decor that we sell or use at our house. Today we're going to be using these ceiling tiles that I picked up while I was out in Pennsylvania. We were there for a family funeral, but I had some extra time, so I wound up junking a little bit.
You had 3 days.
I didn't have 3 extra days.
Well, 2 days.
No,
Two
I had
extra.
1 day. Because I had Saturday, and then Sunday we went with cousins, and Monday was a funeral, and then I flew home.
Gotcha.
I feel like Zeb thinks I took like a vacation.
Maybe a little bit. You did get your feet done.
I did get a pedicure on my 1 day off. Be sure, if you guys like these kinds of videos, to hit that subscribe and the notifications bell so you never miss a video. And Caitlin, if you're watching, would you shoot out a text, if you haven't done so already, to our text group? And let everybody know in the live chat how to sign up for text alerts, because I know sometimes YouTube's wonky and you miss stuff. So why don't you tell them what we're doing, and I'm going to turn on comments.
So we've got these old ceiling tiles, and we're going to frame them out. I've got a piece of scrap siding from when we built the house. I'll show you here.
This is that LP Smart side, right?
Yep. So it doesn't, I mean, whatever you got would work. Piece of plywood, whatever. This is 3/8. So I've got the right size nails. They're just 1 inch, and I'm gonna glue it down. This is what it looks like on this side. And I'm gonna use the rough side to make the frame for it. Oh, here, I have some.
Robert Gloria says, hashtag more Odelia. More Odelia is at more cheer.
Yeah, she's a cheer.
I got these we got Klingon brushes that we carry at JamiRayVintage.com now. And I got us each a new brush.
All right.
It's like Christmas when you open a new brush.
We've been really due for new brushes. Check this one out. It's done all kinds of paint.
Yeah,
all right,
so we're super excited about this.
So this is really rough 1x3, well, I think it's 1x4. It was like $4.50 for an 8-foot board, which is really cheap right now, actually.
Yeah, we're trying to find the least expensive wood that we can, or you could reuse pallet wood if it's not chemically treated, or scraps.
We would prefer to use salvage wood.
Yeah, I want it to
kind
of look like barn wood. I actually like the bird's eye in that.
Yeah, it's got some little knots and stuff. So I'm gonna just nail the corners together. Did you put your safety glasses on?
Oh, no, I am safetied up.
So real quick, I'm just going to do this, then we're going to get to painting, and we've got some transfers and milk paint and all kinds of stuff we're going to do to these.
How is the pool coming? If you guys stick around, we'll give you a sneak peek of the pool, because they're actually working on it right now.
Yeah, can you see out this window? Oh, not much out this window. In yesterday's video, you could see the tractor moving dirt.
If you guys haven't watched it, make sure you check out yesterday's video. I share all my tips and tricks on how to junk and thrift while you're traveling, because I'm really good at getting a lot of stuff home without paying extra. I fly Southwest, so you always get 2 checked bags. Sometimes I fly Delta, and then you gotta pay for a checked bag, but it still usually winds up being cheaper than like a big box that you would ship home.
So my miter cuts look like they were okay today. We'll see once I try to put these tins inside how my measurements were.
I don't know, I bought the tins. They were $5 each at Construction Junction, which is in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They also have, I think they sell on eBay as well, so you can check them out there. They are a salvage reuser, so they buy old salvage and reuse it and save it from the landfills, which you guys know is something totally that we love. That's why we do Waste Not Wednesday. And here in where we live, I would pay easily $20 or more per panel, because ceiling tiles are not plentiful here. Back east, there's older buildings, more older buildings and houses, and here they're just not as common. So even if I hadn't have done this, I could have totally sold these for 20 bucks each, and because they were flat and stacked on top of each other, they were a good thing to travel with because they didn't take up a lot of space. And they actually wound up being the bottom to a brown paper package that I used as a checked bag.
So I was thinking about it the other day. I'm like, oh, well, why don't we have buildings with ceiling tiles and things like that in them. And I think just the population was not here. There just wasn't a lot of older buildings back when people were using that sort of construction material, because
and the ones that we have, they're saving the tile, and there's not a lot of old buildings, I feel like, even left. I feel like Lehi has torn down a ton.
The West didn't really start getting much population until the 1870s, 1880s.
Yeah. Zeb's family moved here to Lehi, where we live now, in about the 1850s. And they actually had a house that still stands on Main Street, was their adobe house that they built, the Petersons. So that's kind of a fun information. They're actually cousins to the Webbs who owned the home that we have. And then we're looking on doing some more family history because, as you guys know, we're buying the church not too far from our house that we're going to be using as a shop that was built in 1894. And we're trying to see if any of his relatives went to church in that building. I'm sure there were, because there's Petersons everywhere in Lehi, and that's his family that lives here. So
okay, so now it's important that I switch out the nails. These are 1 5/8, and we're gonna go down to a 1-inch nail.
Robin, my heart was broke when I had to leave the trunk and chair, but Zeb was like, if you bring one more thing home, you won't be able to park in the garage. So maybe it wasn't the worst thing in the world. So it was a $35 mistake on my part.
I'm hanging this over the edge of the table just in case it blows through.
Not in the island.
It just barely did.
Okay. So we're not putting the piece.
We're gonna put the tin in a sec. It won't go underneath because this part here was gonna be like crazy.
Oh, okay. Zeb, it is cool that we have a family connection. We've actually lived in Lehi for like 13 years, and Zeb's dad knew that his family was from Lehi and never told us. So it wasn't until we did some family history that we're like, your great-great-great-grandpa is buried like 1 mile away from here, and he has this huge pioneer headstone with a big plaque because he was a pioneer, like found Lehi. And so it's kind of fun. Sometimes you get planted places and you don't know why, and then you find out later. All right.
Although we are finding out, I think we mentioned it in Saturday's live, like she can't really be dating a lot of people because we're closely related to a lot more people than we thought.
Dating options are limited, so she has. Our church has this app that if you have your family history, you can turn it on and it'll tell you if you're related to somebody, if you're like in proximity to them. So I told her she has to use that app every time she decides if she's going to date somebody. Okay,
so this is much sturdier. Let's see. I think the white tin is actually a little bigger, and I measured the brown one, so that one got voted off the island just now.
Okay. See, I would have just. Okay, that's good. And you're just gonna staple the tin in?
Yes and no. It's got little holes here, and I've got screws.
Okay. So somebody just asked where this wood was from. This is leftover. We like to use as much scrap supplies as possible. This is just leftover siding from when we built our addition. And then the frame is 1x4 from Home Depot, and it's about $4 a board there, so it's the more inexpensive wood that they have.
Do you want to paint this first and then drop the tin in, or is everything going similar color and then we're going to
I would just say drop the tin in and let's get to painting.
Okay.
So you get that done and we'll slide all the materials over, and I'm going to start
And then I'll
painting.
build a second one.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys saw how that went together. I didn't do the miter cuts on the video, but they're just 45s. What I do is I measure this, and then the inside cut is the measurement for whatever you're putting in there. So that's where you want to start your mark, and then that's an easy way to remember how to do it.
Is it a half compass and then mark it, or you can just use your chop saw on the 45? There's a couple different ways to do it. You don't have to have all the fancy tools. You could even use like a saw box and a saw that goes like this. What are those called?
Just a miter box.
A miter box, but what's a saw called? Just a saw.
Yeah,
a hand saw.
Just yeah.
Because it's not that many cuts.
Hand saw. All right, so I've got the wrong bit in here. These take a number 1, not a number 2.
Pat, these were $5 each. When we're all finished, these are probably going to sell for somewhere around the $50 range.
If you want, you can go ahead and start painting that. I might be a minute finding the right.
Okay, let me move this around. They're going to sell for around the $50 range. I need to calculate all the supplies because we're doing quite a bit to them. So, because we've got this board and it's framed in, and I'm going to start painting it. So I'm going to get started with some on the outside. I don't know what Seb grabbed for me to paint with. I usually like to go dark. Hold on just a second. I got to run off camera real quick. All right. Black velvet is what I found, so that's what I'm going to do. If I can open it. Seriously. Zeb leaves me right when there we go. Other hand, I forgot, I'm right hand dominant. So I'm just gonna do a dark color underneath on this wood. And one of my little tips for like doing a faux stain, put a little paint and then get a cup of water. Do we have hold on just a second, I'm going off camera, I'm gonna come right back. And yes, I am wearing my husband's sweatpants today. I did not actually get all the way dressed. I did put on a bra, which I feel like, you know, at least I tried. So I'm just gonna take this black velvet, add water to it, and make it like into a really dark black stain. And then I'll rub it back in a minute. So I'm just dipping my brush in water. Because DIY paint is so pigmented, it just doesn't take that much to make a stain, especially with the darker colors, and the water just smears it around. And this is just a base coat. If I was doing a table, I'd probably mix up the faux stain first, but this is just to give me a dark undercoat. Because when I'm distressing, I usually like something dark to come down to. All right. Be careful when you're working with stuff like this, that you don't eat the paint or inhale the paint or make paint dust, because these are really old. All right, sorry, I went off camera a couple times.
I think we'll be okay.
All right, we've got only this much. I'm just doing like a faux dark, like black stain.
Oh, you're just gonna wipe it back so it dries fast?
Yeah, I did water and I smeared it around.
Well, you know that? Is that little black dress?
No, it's black velvet.
Black velvet? Well,
But it makes a great dark
it's
stain.
pigmented enough, it just went for it. It's like full coverage.
I did like 4 swipes.
So this might come through the back because I think this is a 1/2-inch screw. No, we're perfect.
It'll dry a lot faster. Wiping it back too.
All right, so I'm just gonna put a couple of these in to hold this down.
Try not get in the way here.
They're almost coming through. I can kind of feel them push the wood right there at the very end. This already has holes in it from when they nailed it up originally, so I'm just going right in those holes.
All right. While you're doing that, I'm gonna mix up some paint. So I picked 3 colors today. I got Love Bug, Purple Posies, and Just Peachy. What do you want to start with, Zeb?
We haven't used Love Bug in a
Okay.
long time. I think let's try that.
Okay, Love Bug is like
Okay.
a medium yellow. This is milk paint, so it's all natural, food safe. I'm just gonna mix up a little bit because we're not gonna need the whole sample. And you do 1 part milk paint to 1 part warm water. And then I need to grab my little whisk.
Oh, where did my screw go? Lost the screw right at the end of this.
Here it is.
So these should turn out looking pretty cool and old, even though we have kind of some newer materials. We didn't have the old trim that we wanted. I need to go tear down another building soon. We need some
You need
salvage.
to tear down another building?
We ran out of our salvage. It's been about 3 years since we've done demo on an old building other than this house, and we didn't get a lot of salvage out of this house, sadly.
There wasn't a lot of original trim.
Most of like the trim and stuff that would have been in here in the early 1900s was gone.
Yeah, if there would have been it, I would have saved it for myself, for my house.
Okay, so there's one. You can do whatever you want to this.
Is milk paint always chippy? Not if you're, like, it probably won't chip much on this because it's dry wood. And it's not chippy if you don't activate it. You can also add Bond and make it a little thicker.
This is
and
what the
not
back
chippy.
of that looks like. Looks like it was
Farmhouse finish.
square
Oh, sorry.
on my board.
He's talking, I'm answering questions, I apologize. Farmhouse Finishes is a good milk paint if you don't want it to chip. It has Bond built into it.
So I used Farmhouse Finishes on some of that stuff from Saturday's video with Odelia, thinking, you know, I'm gonna get this, I'll wet distress it and chip it. I had to distress it so hard and wet distress it and heat gun it, and it still didn't
Can you get the
get
heat gun out so I can...
as much chipping as I wanted on it.
So I mixed up maybe half a sample. A sample makes 4 ounces, so I made maybe 2 ounces. I don't even think I used that much. Oh, the humidity has been rough this week. It was so humid on Monday. I curled my hair, it looked all cute, and then it went in a ponytail in about 3 seconds. Today, I'm not gonna lie, I have not even brushed my hair. I got my makeup on, and then Zeb's like, you gotta go to the shop. And I'm like, shoot. Which is also probably why I'm wearing these sweatpants.
Oh, there's probably super comfy.
They are way comfy. I feel like I could eat like a lot of burritos and tacos today and not even feel bad.
You wouldn't even notice it?
I would not even notice it. Okay, where's my new Klingon
Your
brush?
new Klingon is right there.
Klingons brush pretty smooth. So I'm not worried about full coverage. I'm just getting this on here. Kind of.
This already has
Add
some
some
pretty
color.
good chippiness and texture. Just painting it is going to, it's going to bring a lot of that out.
Yeah, I just am not a huge fan of this like really dark mustardy color.
The brown, it's like a full-blown brown almost. Like it's
Yeah.
not even tan colored.
It's like greeny brown.
You know, there's a color underneath that's chipping through that's very similar to this love bug.
We're going to wind up using IOD transfers on these and adding hooks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So,
Well, I'm going to be doing a lot of heat gunning. Prepare yourself, because we got to get these dry. All right, I'm going to switch you spots.
Okay.
That's
Well-
actually drying pretty quickly on its own because you did
Yeah.
a wash and then wiped it back. So I'm going to put this other one together. You're going to have to safety glass
what
up
I don't
again.
know is how I want to do the frame. Like, do I want to paint the love bug over it, or do I want to do like a whitewash? Or do I want to just paint it beadboard and wet distress? Decisions, decisions.
All right, you're going to get safety glasses on again. I know you love them so much.
Yeah, where are they?
Yours are over there. Well, I may have taken yours.
Yeah, I feel like you might have.
Are you done with this black
For now.
for a minute?
For a hot second, I'm done.
Till we get the next one going?
Yeah. Don't worry, I'm gonna bring some of the original paint back. Don't you worry about it. Can you check comments, Seb?
Rashonda says that milk paint is so much fun. Even though it's unpredictable, you can learn how to anticipate the outcome. It dries rock hard, but is so soft and smooth. Yeah, when you touch it, it's like really powdery smooth. It's hard to describe.
I'm gonna do beadboard on the frame. Lighten up the situation.
Okay, so I need to switch out nails again. Every now and then I'll forget to switch nails.
This is DIY paint. It's a clay-based, also all natural. And I'm just adding, I'm lightening this up. I'm gonna, eventually this will wind up looking like old barnwood. Well, maybe. That's the plan anyways.
That's the dream.
That is the dream, the old barnwood dream.
Putting your phone over here.
I might have painted that.
You might have
Sorry
painted
guys,
your
I
phone.
got a lot of steps to do, so I don't know how many comments I'm gonna get to. I'll try.
It's really flying through the steps though.
We gotta get this job
I could
finished.
have I could have had one of these built, I guess, but you know, in true fashion, I was at the hardware store at 9 getting trim right before the video.
Hey, we are still recovering from me being gone and everybody having a cold last week. Somebody's like, what's wrong with Jami? Last Thursday, I was like, listen, Linda, I was sick.
Not just a little bit sick, like
I was
really
a lot
sick.
of bit sick. I had a cold. It was not the COVID. I got tested. It wasn't the Rona, but whatever, it was bad. And I needed to get better so I could travel. So I was just kind of in a mood. I'm not good at faking a good mood when I'm sick. Okay, let that dry. Where's the heat gun?
It's right there.
I'll check comments now that I'm.
You guys are gonna hear the tractor in the back a little bit and the beeping. That unfortunately cannot be avoided. We contemplated doing this live at the shop, but the back room is full of stuff waiting to be shipped out to you
Oh, it
from
just-
last week. Oh, you gotta go get a blow dryer then.
Why?
Because there's something wrong with the cord, I think.
Oh. That's all right. Yeah, so the pool, today they're supposed to finish digging, at least that's what I've been told, and get the rock in there, and then tomorrow they're supposed to drop and fill the pool.
So tomorrow, the crane comes and the pool gets delivered at 10. The crane will be here all set up, and they lift it over the house. We'll try to get that on video.
Yeah, we're filming the whole thing. Who knows when we'll get the whole video up, because I don't want to like piecemeal it, so it'll be something that once it's all finished, and maybe
And
we'll
the
do a little back
landscaping is
porch
done.
makeover. We'll do one whole video.
Because
Those
you
tend
know
to
all
be-
that grass all that sod we put down last year, half of it's dug up now.
Yeah, that happens. But we enjoyed it, and it kept dirt out of our house.
It was good. And our good Lehi soil is going to a good home. They're taking it to a farmer and they're just giving it to him.
Yeah. Were they gonna try to save? We actually took some of the soil that they dug up and put it in.
They said there's so much construction, they have to give it away, and sometimes they have to pay to get rid of it.
Well, they were gonna save some for Mark though.
Yeah, he didn't. It's really sandy in some parts, so they're sorting through it a little bit.
We have some really good dirt that we saved for our flower beds. We have a couple. Last year we had just one tub and we didn't really take care of it. This year we have 2 old clawfoot tubs, and I'm going to use one of those antique Hungarian baby bathtubs that we have on the stands. And we're going to have a raised bed garden because bending over is hard for my dad, and he loves to garden. So he said he doesn't love to garden, but it gives him something fun to do.
He enjoys it. He likes it when those tomatoes come in.
Yeah.
So Lehi is in between a couple of mountain passes, and there's a river that runs through the valley down here. So we have a really high water table down underground. Not very many rivers or streams because it's really dry on the surface. We don't get a lot of rain, but all that runoff from the mountains. And we've got great sedimentary dirt.
Yeah, we thought that we would have hit water, but we didn't. So.
Nope.
It's supposed to be finished in 4 to 6 weeks because a lot happens this week, and then there's a lot that just happens at the time. Like we'll have water in it this week, but it won't be finished and with all the concrete and stuff for a while. Then you gotta get the final inspection and all that does. Is there a way to make the milk paint chip more? Yeah, if you get it wet, it'll chip. And that happens. We were doing something the other day. Oh, we had a Waste Not Wednesday where we did live, and we painted these French style frames. And I got them wet, I distressed them, and they chipped a little bit on the live, but once the live was over, because I wet distressed it, it chipped a lot. Let me see if I can find a washcloth here.
So part of the reason I'm using this plywood is because this board, even if you're using salvage, like it's warped and it's just cheap, kind of seconds wood.
So I'm just using water. Sorry, you can keep talking. I just want to tell me.
That's fine.
Just using water here.
So it's got some twisties and bendies, and this backer board is going to help keep everything kind of straight how we want it.
So remember I told you I was going to bring back that original chippy layer underneath? That's what I'm doing here. And I'm wet distressing.
Oh shoot, I still got the long nails in here.
Oh,
good thing I hung it over the edge.
Yeah, good thing you didn't get into my kitchen island.
I was just telling them how I sometimes do that, and here I went and did it.
So I'm using water to wet distress and then a heat gun to dry the water. And sometimes that helps it chip up. I don't want it to be too chippy because I really don't want the chippy paint underneath to like come out because I have no idea what's in that. So I'm always careful. I would never sand this paint. But I'll show you, it is giving me some really great crackle because I'm getting it wet, and I will give you a close-up when I'm done wet distressing. So wet distress is really great when you don't want to use a sander and disturb the original paint finish underneath. Because then what it does is, until you seal it, this is water soluble, and the paint will come off just with water. The longer you let the paint dry though, the harder it is, especially with the milk paint, to get it to come off. So I'm going to bring this up close and I'm going to show you the half that I distressed and heat gunned and then the half that I didn't, and I can already see it starting to chip up. Okay. This is Love Bug, yeah. So can you guys see the top? I'm going to try. Come around here without knocking anything over. So this part is where I wet distressed it, and it's kind of chipping. Can you see the crackle? I don't know if you can see it on camera. Right there, there's more crackle. So there you go, you can see that. And then down here, it's just like painted, so I haven't wet distressed it yet. So that kind of gives you an idea. And as it dries over time, it'll get more chippy and crackle. And I mean, some of that is because of the texture underneath. But whenever I'm painting over salvage, I really like to use the milk paint because I feel like it keeps that authentic paint finish going. So I'm gonna keep wet distressing. And then I will distress the frame. So can I move this back so I can see what I'm doing?
Yes.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Then I will distress the frame.
Why is
And
this
we'll
one
get a
thin?
transfer.
It's the one that's bigger.
That one?
Yeah.
Ah, you're throwing stuff at me.
I'm just helping you add texture.
So I'm just using the texture and the highs and lows of the piece is where it's really taking the paint off.
There we go.
Okay. If you've got babies, little kids, indoor animals, whatever, just be super careful when you're doing and working with old pieces. I have to give you that disclaimer, and I can't give you official information on how to handle old pieces because there's a lot of liability, but I'm just telling you, you need to look it up and be careful. And if you buy something that's old, don't lick it or chew on it.
Yeah, pretty easy.
Hang it on the wall far away from anybody that would do those types of things. Ooh, this is getting good chippage. Hopefully you guys saw all the crackle and chip that came. Really, especially because this is so dry, that came in because of the heat gun and the wet distress. And that's how you can kind of encourage more chipping on dry things. If something has a shine, it'll like chip naturally, but I didn't have time to spray a sealer on here. Okay. I'm going to sand this frame.
So careful sliding these around. A couple nails went through a little deep. They sunk down in. So I got to go back with the grinder on the back side of them. So in an effort to not gouge the island.
Okay. This is not old wood on the edge. If it was salvage wood, I probably would just wet distress it. But I'm just kind of blending the base coat and the top coat to give kind of a layered look here.
It is pretty rough sawn though, so it's got some good kerf marks from the saw.
Yeah, it's gonna look old just from sanding the texture of the rough wood. You really don't want to sand your wood before you do this because then you would lose all the texture that's gonna come through and the contrast of the light and the dark. And I will bring you this up close.
Do you want to seal that before we put a transfer on there?
Yeah, probably.
I'm gonna go, this has some paint chips, so I'm gonna go knock this off
This
in my
is
garage.
really fine sandpaper. It's 220. So you don't want to use heavy grit or you're gonna get like a streaky type distress. And I want it to be like a natural age. All right, I'm gonna show you the difference between distressed and what it looked like when I just painted it on. So this side, I just painted it. And then the top is distressed. You see how much older that looks? It's kind of a natural worn look. It's pretty good. All right. You can do that one if you want to. That one can be yours.
Okay.
Let's just do two. We'll do one later.
Well, I only cut enough wood for two because that's all the scraps I had.
Okay,
That I didn't have to like do a monumental dig out.
that's fine. 2 projects is good.
I do have more scrap wood, but it's
Where did my
behind
sandpaper
some-
go though? Oh, no, that's not it.
I don't know.
I don't know from whence
Is
it
it down
went.
behind you here? Maybe I put my board on top.
Yes, that is where it is.
Okay.
The white also powders and kind of grays out the black because of the high pigment in the clay paint. So that also gives it a good look. And then I'm gonna just wipe this a little with this too. Just gonna make sure, get all the dust off of there. Okay, the next part is I'm gonna seal this piece. I probably should seal all of it.
Hey Jack, what are you doing, buddy?
I went to the bathroom.
Okay.
We can't eat because we're live.
Let's clear out. We're live on YouTube.
I'm just gonna use this other. This is an
Don't, you
older
can't get in the
Klingon.
fridge and cook food.
I have a habit of spelling Klingon like Star Trek Klingon instead of like the brush Klingon. What, Jack?
Just, all right, hurry.
Get a snack. Sorry, it's summertime. For those of you that don't know, we have 5 kids, 4 that live at home, and my parents live with us, so we're a small family of 8 in one house. Life gets interesting around here sometimes. So what I'm doing is I'm just sealing this up because that way I can throw a transfer on this because I want to put an IOD transfer over the top of this chippy paint to add some extra fun.
So I don't know how you got yours so dark. Mine's like really
So,
watery.
so I didn't make paint. I just took a swipe of that and I put swipe, 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 and then I smeared it with water. So that's just my paint water. It's not stained.
Well, it got pretty dark.
You're like, why isn't this working for me? Jamie has a special technique. Sorry.
I was like, man, hers is way
I was
darker.
withholding
And I
information.
basically had like a really washed out stain going.
Okay, so you don't necessarily have to seal it before you put a transfer on it, but I feel like when you seal it, it helps that transfer, especially on a bumpy, chippy surface, helps it adhere better. If this started chipping uncontrollably, that would be real interesting. But so far, it's been all right. Let's get the heat gun out, see what happens with that. Oh, there's like sand. I'm gonna use your sweatpants to clean my phone.
What?
Okay. We're going to wind up putting hooks on this and then eventually a French cleat, and then we'll sell them so people will have like some fun salvage art, but they can also use it like a coat rack. So I gotta dry this.
This time of year, it's a hat rack
Yeah, a hat rack or a beach bag rack.
or purse.
Whatever crap you want to hang on it, we'll allow it. Hey Jack, feed that baby.
It's like 10:30. He's barely sneaking downstairs for breakfast.
He's been up for a while. We already played half a game of life. It's sitting on the dining table. I told him I'd finish it after our live. We went out to the animals. He jumped on the trampoline. I don't know what happened. Did he leave?
Yeah, he went
He
upstairs
must have
with the
found
food.
something.
He went and broke the don't eat food out of the kitchen rule.
Jack knows how to feed himself. Don't worry. With
Yeah,
us building a house for a year and a half, the man is self-sufficient. The little man. And the big man occasionally. Sometimes my dad needs more help. All right, let's try this.
yeah, I would say that Jack's probably better at feeding himself than your dad is. Your dad can do it, he just doesn't.
Robin says, I bought a 12-inch ceiling tin from you last year. My hubby built a frame and I made magnets from IOD mold. Super cute memo board. I would love that. That's so cute. We do sell 12 by 12 ceiling tiles that are like new reproductions that would be perfect for a project like this. If you were worried about like the original paint or you couldn't find a piece like this, they are great for that. They did have
He went out on the front porch to eat.
Jack on
He
the
did
front
not
porch
go
eating.
in the living room.
Way
to
to
eat.
follow the rules, Jack. Good job. He's not upstairs eating. They did have pieces twice as long as this, but I knew I would never get them home. So that I bought all the small pieces of salvage that they had at Construction Junction. One of my favorite ways to build a frame is to use like old floorboard. That's always fun. And you can cut this down if you needed a different size using tin snips. Or there's probably some sort of saw. There we
Oh.
go.
Yeah, they make all kinds of cutters for that. I would use an angle grinder, to be honest. That would be my weapon of choice.
All right. So one of the things to keep in mind is if you put a transfer over the top of chippy paint and the paint underneath it chips, then that part of the transfer will likely chip as well. So, I mean, I feel like it
Yeah,
goes
we
without
could be
saying, but see, air conditioner on in here. These sweatpants are making me sweat.
Oh, well, you are running the heat gun too. I can go check. It might be up high because in the morning it goes to economy mode, so it's not.
Yeah.
Because it gets down in the 60s at night, and so it usually doesn't kick on until about noon.
So I'm already getting some extra chipping, so I'll have to try to dry, not the paint underneath, but the milk paint is chipping. And I will put lots of sealer over the top to when we're all done.
Might have to
People
mix
can
some more
chip
of
in
this
more.
up. The bottom didn't get stirred up.
My bottom didn't get stirred up. Oh, I was gonna use a different color. I guess we'll just use Love Bug today. That's cool. All right,
Oh.
let me get,
Sorry.
what was I going to get, Zeb?
Transfer.
I think I have transfers, so.
You got it sealed and dried? Is it dried
Yeah, it's
enough?
dry. So, well, the sealer I'll dry some more. You guys, let me know. So I have this one, it's just black and white, which
You're not
would
holding
be
it far enough away, they can hardly see it.
which would be fun to watercolor. So we could watercolor over the top of that one. We have some watercolors upstairs actually.
Yeah.
We could use this new one from IOD. This is the new floral anthology. It's gorgeous. This is the one we used on our chest that we put in my family room. Or Old Faithful, Flora Puriensis. This is the new format on the flat pack. So Zeb, I'll let you decide. Which one should I use?
I actually really love the one that's the outlined one. What's that one called?
This
The
one
Winter
is
Song?
Winter Song.
Oh, I loved it when they had the Winter Song before.
All right, let's do
I haven't
Winter
used
Song.
it since it's been in the flat pack.
Okay, let me dry this some more, and I'll use Winter Song, and
It's super great for
you can use the new one.
for those of us who cannot actually paint and draw flowers out.
Or that don't want to. You know, I can do a lot of things, but do I
Like
want
me,
to?
I'm not super great at flowers and organic drawing.
Just making sure that there's no wet spots like
I can do some mean field of hay as far
You
as
can do
like,
flowers. You made me flowers when we were dating.
yeah, those are colored pencils. That's really my favorite medium, but as far as like detail, because if I'm gonna like draw something out, I want to see all the details in it. It's just my personal preference.
Tasana said, so I did the paint pour on my dressers and I didn't like it, so I ended up just adding glitter to my paint.
Nice.
That would be fun. We do have new products coming out from
Are you allowed to
DIY
say?
Paint pretty soon.
Are you allowed to say?
Caitlin's, what? Yeah, I am. They're
Oh.
going up for pre-order today on the website. The new pigments and micas, they'll ship like the end of June whenever we get the official release, as well as a gold wax. And I'm gonna be getting some product to test early, so stay tuned for some of those videos. That'll be fun. So definitely check out the website, JamiRayVintage.com. Caitlin will shoot out a text and an email once the pre-orders are up.
You should show them close up what that board ended up looking like dry and
Oh, I did
sealed.
already. Want to see it again?
You did good.
There we go.
I can see it.
And like I said, the mustard underneath wasn't bad, just not my jam, so.
This is a really fun bright yellow, not like in your face sunshine yellow, kind of more of a muted matte type yellow, but still good.
All right, so these have to be lined up. Maybe this is a Zeb job.
Oh,
Do you want to trade? So the way that this works
I
when
need
you
to
line
put
them
this
up
white stuff.
is they make a wreath. So
Oh.
it's gonna go over the top of the frame, which is fine because I painted that. I would start on the bottom though, so that way if the wreath is too big, you have like almost a circle shape on there.
Okay, so I see how it goes here.
You put a lot more milk paint than I did.
Mine was just wet because I had to water down. It should dry fast.
Do you want to move that camera in close while you're
I'm
working on
gonna
that?
just put it down so you guys can see how I lay this out.
I'm just
here.
drying milk paint. It's not very exciting.
This
up here.
could get a little interesting because it's got all these bumps
Yeah,
and
do you
waves.
need scissors?
Yes, I'm going to.
Let me grab
You
you
guys
guys.
see that good? We'll bring it up just a little bit. There you
These
go.
are not the best scissors in the world, so may the force be with you. The third one. Okay, so they want the new transfer.
The new one, not this one?
No,
Or-
we're gonna do this one and we'll do the new transfer on this one.
Okay. All right, so that's gonna go way over, but it'll go up onto the wood. Is that all right? Onto
Oh,
the
yeah.
wood frame.
I love when transfers go over the edge. And I might mix up some leftover of the black and whites and layer them over the top of the new floral anthology. Is the Flora Parisiensis transfer the same amount? I think you actually get a little bit more than what comes in the tube. That's a 4-sheet transfer. This one's a 4-sheet transfer. I think the floral anthology is an 8-sheet transfer. From what I understand, the flat pack is a little bit more value. That's what I've been told. I never actually measured it to be sure. I feel like it's more of a value because you waste less because it was really hard to store the old transfers with scraps and roll them up and stick them in a tube, and hopefully they don't stick to each other. The flat pack is just so much easier to save leftovers because they don't roll up. They're also easier to apply because they don't roll up on you, and they have a nice grid system.
Yeah, the grid's gonna make this really easy to line up.
What is the text or email address? Caitlin, can you throw that in the live chat? If you're watching the replay, guys, make sure you're watching the live chat too. Caitlin drops all kinds of nuggets of information.
All right, so we kind of got this laid out. I'm gonna cut these extra flowers on top off because they're just kind of individual. If you were using it on a larger piece, it would all be a cohesive pattern, but now they're just gonna be, they would be used, I would use them in a corner of something because they make a great corner element.
I'm not worried about full dry because I'm going to wet distress it, but I'm going to dry brush the white on. Where's my white brush?
Wherever you put it, here it is.
Okay, I'm going to need to move over because I don't want to be all up in your business there.
Okay, and then, so that one went up here. Sorry, I kicked the camera. This one is the last corner. All right, now we're ready to start placement. Wish me luck. This is gonna be interesting on this ceiling pin.
I feel like it's busy enough that if it's not perfect, it's okay.
Where, when you opened this, where was the applicator?
It fell out.
Oh.
It's probably under here. I didn't open it, you opened it, didn't I?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I didn't open the plastic sleeve.
I don't know. I got another applicator.
You got another one?
There's one right here.
Can you guys still see this
I
okay?
save all my applicators. You get a new applicator with every IOD transfer. We find all kinds of uses for them. Maybe we should make a video where we like slap the paint on with that applicator.
They do make really good kind of like squeegee situations.
Are you girls saying Jamie's extra? I'm extra special.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna start this one right here. I've removed the backer. Once you do that, you're committing to your placement.
So I'm gonna dry brush this too. So that way they're not identical.
All right. And I moved the applicator. Here it is. Here it is again. So the reason we sealed this is because milk paint and the DIY paint are both porous until sealed. The milk paint will dry super hard as well as the DIY paint. It takes them about 30 days if you don't seal them. We actually don't seal a lot of our salvage pieces and they get really hard and never have any issue. But anything we do for resale, we always seal because I never know what the end user is going to do with it.
Well, also, it's really hard to put a transfer on fresh porous paint.
Yeah.
And you really should let your sealer dry a few hours too. This isn't the best option.
And I cannot say enough good things about these new flat pack transfers, the way they release from the backer.
Yeah, this would have been nearly impossible with the first generation. All right, guys, I'm just wet distressing. If you saw me, I did some white dry brush over the love bug just to do something fun. I'm gonna wet distress this instead of sanding this to give it a different look to the love.
I gotta apply faster. I got like 10 minutes to get this on here.
Ah!
Well, 15 because we were 5 minutes late. See how I kind of walked that over the edge there?
So, and we've got to get this wet to wet distress.
So I'm just kind of laying the transfer down, riding the wave, and if something doesn't peel up, I just push it back down.
Jack is very anxious to finish the game of life.
Well, So he plays with his brothers and sisters, right? But he's the youngest, and so sometimes they're not patient with him when he's doing his math. And
He's good at it.
And so they'll tend to leave him out a little when it comes to board games.
Next year he's going to be in 2nd grade. His math skills are strong.
Yeah, he actually does really good at math. Frederick is good at math too. I'm sure Eliza's good at math because I never have to help her.
Frederick's really good at math.
And she gets A's, so Eliza's one of those kids where like I don't really know how well her education's going because she always has like 130% in everything she could have a score in. So I'm assuming she's doing well.
Yeah, that's pretty darn good. She's a good egg. So this one I just wet distressed, and the white kind of went down into the rough sawn, and it turned out pretty cool. And then I whitewashed over the top of the love bug to lighten it up a little bit. That is the transfer ninja. He is.
Yeah, I would say if you've never done a transfer, don't have this be your first project.
Yeah,
I've done several hundred and kind of know what to expect, but your best bet if you want to try one out is a smooth, flat surface that's nicely sealed and cured up well,
And
dust-free. That's going to be your winning combo, and they'll turn out perfect for you.
Got some milk paint chipping.
Oh,
over.
also do them inside. If the wind catches these or dust gets up under them, it's not your friend.
Now that they're flat packed, the wind isn't as, because if they don't, if the wind would make them roll up.
Yeah.
It'd be quite the situation. Ask us how we know.
Did a few transfers out in the front yard where we used to spray all our furniture.
Okay, I'm gonna seal this one up. You should just pour your sealer in a cup and brush from there, but ain't nobody got time for that.
All right, we're almost done with the first one. Who's ready for the reveal? I'm ready to see it.
They're ready. Oh, that looks good.
Is it looking good on there? So if you wanted to, we probably won't get to it on this video. And I think it actually looks okay without it because this is a pretty busy situation with the ceiling tin underneath. So I feel like the black transfer just with the outline is gonna be fine.
You could watercolor over the top of it.
Yeah.
So we seal over the top of the transfers. So once that's all done, we'll make sure it's burnished, and then we'll seal over the top of it. And then you could totally watercolor over it. I think I think you're right. We'll just leave it as is. We'll put the black like hooks on there, and then if somebody buys it and wants to watercolor it, they can, or they can just leave it that way. You could also do a similar situation with the new peony stamp and stamp it on here, and then you could watercolor that.
So
after you
it's
seal
shifted
it.
because it's all broken off now. So I just lined this back up. It was really simple to do.
Okay. I'm just using Sweet Pickett's top coat. It's really matte, dries
All right,
hard.
I'm gonna bring the camera in close. Hopefully not shake you around too much.
So if you want to purchase one of these that we're working on, once we get them all the way finished, they will be listed on jrbhome.com. Give us about an hour after the live video, we'll get them listed. Also, you guys check out jrbhome.com. That's our whole website with our finds. I have all of the things that I'm willing to part with, which is about half of what I picked in Pennsylvania, up on JRB Home in the antique section. That's where we put all of our antique, vintage, and found items.
Okay, so now you can see this one here. I don't know if you can see it. So this design here fits
Caitlin's
perfectly
gonna
with
help
this.
Sorry.
Did someone need some help?
No, I think Caitlin's gonna help her buy one of these.
Oh. So I'm just lining that up there. And it's really easy because all these pieces just match up perfectly. Okay, committed to it.
Hippie Soul, I don't know how much they'll be because I have to calculate in like the transfer, the paint, the wood, so make sure you're...
We haven't added it all
We
up
haven't
yet.
added it all up, so it might be more. I said 50, but those transfers are like 30 bucks each, so this may be a little
Yeah,
bit
this is
more
gonna
spending.
take a whole transfer.
Make sure when you guys are working on projects that you're taking into account your time, all of the pieces, like the ceiling tiles worth about 20 bucks, the transfer's 30 bucks, the wood, the paint, and your time. It can add up quick.
And the hooks.
Yeah.
It's
Now,
best.
and the hooks. Shoot. But make sure you guys are doing that because you gotta get
You were
paid,
giving these
especially
away.
Huh?
You were giving these away.
I know. That's why I said I wasn't sure. Yeah, these might be more in like the $89 range. Now that I'm calculating all of the expenses.
Now that she's thought about it for a second.
Pro tip, always add, speaking of math, do your junk math. We will have some transfer left over from these
Yeah, we have all those corner pieces.
So we will, it's not like, I don't add up the whole transfer, just the portions that I'm using. Tomorrow we are not going to be doing the Stay at Home Shopping Network. Those videos have not been doing well on our channel. So we will likely go live on our Facebook page. We don't know what time yet, but we'll send out a text with the time before we go live on Facebook. We're going to be discontinuing the Thursday lives on YouTube.
We may replace them with something
Yeah, we may
edited,
replace it with
but
something else, but for right now we're discontinuing them because they just aren't getting the views, and we want to make sure that we're keeping our channel fresh. All right, this one seems to be pretty well dry. I'm going to make sure this braid is really dry.
so we'll have one project live stream like we have, a couple of edited videos, and then the Saturday thrift haul where we paint at the end for now. We've been doing 5 videos for like 4 years.
Yeah, it's been a situation.
We promised we'd do it for 1 and we kept doing it for 4.
Life is fluid. I feel like if something isn't working, you have to change things up, try new things. That's so important in all facets of life. So this one's a little bit different. You can see this is a little bit lighter because I did that white dry brush on it.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. All right. So I think we agreed that this one would get the new transfer. This is a 4-sheet transfer too. So we're going to use this one. This is Floral Anthology. I think the yellow is going to look good because there's some yellow undertones in the actual transfer.
So wouldn't it be funny if these ended up back in
Pennsylvania.
Came out to Utah, shipped back out to
We
Pennsylvania.
call it the circle of junk, man. All right, so I have to decide which one's going in there. Probably not all these pieces. Probably like a big chunk of one. I like this one.
You know, Jamie had never been back east farther than
I went to
Florida.
Delaware.
Oh,
And
well, you did go
Delaware
to
was
Delaware,
like-
but you stayed in a very small location and you hit the airport and that's it.
Yeah, it's just Delaware. All I saw was lots of trees.
But
trees,
I feel like
more trees.
I feel like she's after being in France and then going to Pennsylvania. She's like, oh, you know what? If you go back east, we have some really amazing architecture here in the U.S.
There was some beautiful. The University of Pittsburgh. Oh my gosh. Or University of Pittsburgh. Beautiful, beautiful architecture there. It's a gorgeous city. For a big city, it was so, so pretty.
Well, and I did a proselyting mission for the church, and I spent a lot of time around the Yale campus. If you
Once
guys
lay
are
this
from
down, you're
Connecticut
committed to where it's going. So.
or ever been to Yale, that's also got some really amazing architecture all around there. There's some really awesome cathedrals over there.
Yeah. We drove by, we did a lot of drive-bys because we didn't have time. We did the drive-by at the Hines Church, gorgeous. And then they have the Church of Learning or Tower of Learning or something right by there. That was gorgeous. Lots of beautiful bridges in Pittsburgh. I get really inspired when I see architecture and chippy paint and corbels. Kind of helps out with my artistic side. It's important to feed that part of your creativity. It's a good reason for a trip somewhere. With the world opening up more, I see some traveling in our future. So 20-year wedding anniversary in August, and Zeb's turning 40 this year, so we got to do something. I'd love to go to Europe. But
Can we go take a nap on a beach
Can we
somewhere?
go take a nap on a beach? Is there junk by the beach?
I'm turning 40 and I feel tired.
You feel tired? You are not tired. I think you're just tired.
Yeah, so Jamie left and I got her cold while she was
Everybody had it, so now we're done.
It went through the whole family one at a time. It was like 2 weeks of someone being sick at the house.
We survived not getting the COVID, but the cold, the end of year cold, right before the kids let out of school, you know, they gotta share those last bit of germs. I tease them and say that they're little
You know,
kids.
even Harrington got sick.
No, because he'd been over here. He
came
said it was
over.
a sinus infection. I was like, sweetie, you don't have a sinus infection. You have a cold. So I'm kind of riding the wave and using my hand to separate the transfer. This really helps with a surface like this. And if it doesn't quite pop up,
Can you guys see what Jamie's doing?
yeah, I think so. You see my hands under here? If it doesn't pipe up, you can put it back down. But these bigger transfers like this with a solid piece, you can just kind of release it like this. And it makes the job easier. Sometimes the details won't work that way, so you gotta come back with your stick. But that's a good little pro tip there. All right, here we go. And then I'm gonna make sure this is really well adhered because this is, and it will crack, you guys, when you're on a bumpy surface. So keep that in mind, that it's not gonna be perfect, which is exactly what we want. And if the paint chips up underneath when it dries, the transfer will also chip up.
I just realized I was making transfer face. I'm over here, I'm like.
You're starting to slow it down?
No, I was, when you're really focusing on something, you know?
Oh, gotcha. All right, I'm gonna add another
Okay, so
flower.
I've got 2 on here. I'm gonna show you what just like the half wreath looks like. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. It's gonna be one of those things where from afar, it's just gonna look like good chippy salvage. You get up close and it's gonna have a surprise detail on it.
Surprise!
Okay, so this one is next.
And you can layer, you guys, you can layer transfers on top of each other, so don't be afraid to fill stuff in. This is why I love these, because I don't like to just use them the way they come. I like to use bits and pieces and make my own layout.
Oh, this is gonna be, this goes up over that curve.
You got it.
All right, hang
You're
on.
not done yet over there?
We'll see how this goes.
Well, and this has so many skinny details.
Yeah,
So these are solid, like one piece, right? But these are little tiny strips. So this is a
Maybe we'll show them what yours looks like with some hooks on it.
That's a much more difficult situation you got happening over there.
It hasn't been hard actually. It's just I have to basically go over every piece, whereas you were able to even put your hand under there and ride that wave.
I'm going to use the last few bits of just this whole sheet. So this is just going to be one sheet of transfer on this one. This is made that you can line it all up and create one big cohesive transfer, but I have, as of yet, not done that. I'm not good at following patterns.
It's a little warm in here. This high desert where we get 60s at night and we're high 90s during the day. It's playing tricks on the AC system. Because it's a Google Nest or whatever they call them, and the thermostat, and it tries to learn like when people are in the room and when things are going on. And I really just need to set it to be like 73 all day long.
All right, where's that sandpaper? I'm going to distress this a little bit just to bring that ceiling tile back through. I'm going to be careful not to like
So
chip it up.
let me bring it close so they can see this, because this is actually when the magic happens, because it makes that transfer look like it's always been there on that.
You want to make sure it's really pushed down. Careful with ceiling tiles, they can have sharp edges. Don't want to cut yourself. Make sure you've recently had your tetanus shot when you're dealing with junk. All right, so I'm just going to go over the transfer itself. and bring back the texture. I'm not gonna be disturbing like the actual paint underneath. This kind of brings out the detail where this little fleur-de-lis here that was in the ceiling tile. You don't have to distress it. This is just what I like to do. All right, that melds that so good. Okay, now you want to seal it over the top, and that's the last step. I will probably, when we're no longer live, take this outside and sand this frame. It would be really easy. Yeah, just hit it with the orbital. Give it a little bit more distress. And I don't really need to like seal the whole thing again.
And we say orbital, we use a random orbital. I found it's the best thing for hardwoods and softwoods to not get too many squiggles. A lot of people out there like a palm sander, and that's awesome because you don't get like the round halo when you're doing corners. But my favorite is a random orbital sander with 220 grit. If you use the 220 grit, it just does a soft distress most of the time unless you're pushing too hard.
So do you have little black screws?
I don't think I do. You might have to put a dab of black paint over the top of those.
Oh, what do you have little screws? I can paint
I have
black.
tiny little screws. Where's the packet?
Oh, you're right here.
Yep.
Okay, so
Are you gonna put those on? Are you gonna measure?
No,
or are you just gonna wing
I'm
it?
waiting for you.
Okay.
And then the other one is going to get, these are large cast iron pulls, because I thought I had more of these hooks that we buy on Amazon, but I didn't. So I'm using 3 of these.
If you want to get your own hooks, we have,
Thank you,
I believe the hooks are in the description of the video.
Yeah, so we buy these on Amazon. You have to buy them in a larger quantity, but then these we sell at jrvhome.com. I think they're $3.95 or $4.95 each, and they're big enough that you can hook stuff on. The small drawer pulls, I think is what they're called, or whatever.
Those are cast iron.
Are a little bit smaller than these. These are the large ones, and these are cast iron, and they are big enough for a job like this. I think I'm gonna do more of these though, since they're not double hooks. So you think 4 or 5?
I would do 4. 4 of those.
I think 5, because 5 is odd numbers are pleasing. I'll do 3 hooks, and on this one you're gonna get 5 knobs. I need to remember the price on that. Calculate all this. This is a lot of math I gotta do here. It's great to also just use leftover knobs if you've got them. We save all of our knobs for projects. I could do 4. What do you think? 4 or 5?
I
think 4, because I think 5's gonna be too close.
5 will put them too far to the
so
to
we'll
the
put
edge.
4 here.
And I did glue these so that they've been nailed, but the glue is gonna really make them strong for like hanging stuff on there.
I've done similar things. If you don't have ceiling tiles, but if you have like an old window that's like one solid pane, transfers go on windows beautifully. I don't seal them because I don't like it to get all cloudy, but I put the transfer on there. Then I put hooks on the bottom of the window sash, and you can make something very similar. You can even paint the window with DIY paint and seal it, or just paint the back side of the window and get a solid color. So there's a lot of different ways you can achieve a similar look if you don't have a ceiling tile. You could also just frame out plywood and put some salt wash on it and distress it and put a transfer over that and put hooks on the bottom.
We're gonna lose some of this transfer at the top. It's getting real tricky up here.
It's all right. Nobody expects perfection.
It's got a lot on here though, so I think we're gonna be okay. Well, and the ceiling tile does this too.
Adelia's okay, guys. I wonder where she's at. Is she home?
She got done with cheer at 10, and
she said, "Oh yeah, I'll get a ride." Odelia, did you get a ride?
And then she was gonna try to find a ride home because I'm like, I told her it worked really well when they were in school, but now that she's got cheer in the morning, these live streams in the morning are
Yeah, and my
interfering.
mom can sometimes pick her up, but my mom hasn't been, she's still recovering from traveling. Being almost 82 and traveling is hard. All right, the nice thing about Kling-On brushes, guys, is you just put them in water and they pretty much clean themselves in water. The other brushes I use not so much, but I'm gonna get these all in water. They also, Kling-Ons really lay the paint down flat.
Yeah, if you need like a really smooth, nice finish, the Kling-On brushes are really awesome. They've got a really fine, soft bristle on them.
You could use different oddball knobs. Another thing that would be really fun is old door knobs. I've seen that and it's really cool. Or if you take like rolling pins and cut the ends off and screw those in, that's always fun, especially
We were gonna do that and have that be something that Ty and Mariah made, just half a rolling pin for a knob.
Yeah.
That might be in the next release.
You could like dowel screw them in and then you could use it for aprons. That'd be cute.
Ty
Denise says
doesn't know
crayons
it,
are
but
fantastic.
Ty doesn't know it yet, but that's coming.
Jana said, hi from the UK. I've just finished watching the farmhouse videos. Thank you. We're thinking of making a compilation video and getting that up here start to finish. We're going to title it Couple Builds House with No Prior Experience. Because that's exactly what happened.
All right, this is interesting lining this one up. Because we might have to distress this one a little bit. Because of the hump on here, it's not quite fitting perfectly.
Oh, if you guys are channel members, the video will be next week. We do 2 extra videos for channel members on Tuesdays. We decided this month to start in the second week because yesterday was insane.
Well,
because
Tuesday was the first day of the month, so technically it would be the 3rd Tuesday, but
okay, whatever.
I think there's 5 Tuesdays in
We're
June.
starting with next Tuesday. Because this Tuesday I just got back from being out of town. They started digging the pool. We had business coaching. I had to like talk to all my employees and get the kids settled. Anyways, it was insane. But next Tuesday we'll have a channel member live. We'll make sure to get 2 channel member lives in this month.
It wasn't that crazy. I think you had travel hangover.
Oh, Pat says, I have knobs to use and I'm buying the one that Zeb is working on. Okay, so we're not gonna put knobs on this one. Easy peasy. Thanks, Pat. These are going to be a booger to package. I hope we have boxes big enough. You know what? Maybe instead of hooks, I'll do knobs on this because I can ship them without the knobs on and they could just screw them in and it'll be easier to ship if there's not this huge thing protruding. What do you think? Knobs? Hooks?
So I'll have to pre-drill the knob.
Yeah, you can pre-drill it and we'll put them on there so we know they work and then take them off. Let's do knobs. All right, hooks be gone. Knobs are coming on. Tony says knobs. All right, knobs it is. I think these are cute. We have one more, so if we wind up getting that one done in the next few days, we'll see. Usually we only do a project once. So we'll either do one more or we'll just sell
Well, we
it.
have one more tin, but we may leave it for you to do the project.
Yeah, we have one more
Make it
tin
your
and then
own.
we have a frame tin and then we actually have a tin that's square
So
out
that
of front of
frame
the shop.
tin, I think it was used like around a wood burning stove or something because the back has just got soot all
Oh,
over it.
really? So maybe we need to paint
That's why
that.
your hands were dirty in that.
Yeah, if you watch yesterday's video, you'll see 2 fingerprints here, and it's not my face. It's just from touching the junk and then touching my face. Jamie, we don't. We need you to show Ashley some of your ninja shipping skills. I don't know that I have ninja shipping skills, but I will try. And Zeb is actually pretty good at it too.
I have to go through the dump today.
Do you want me to do that and you can put these knobs on?
Yeah, I'm pretty much almost done. You just gotta, I mean, all I'm doing is pushing hard.
So we have French cleats that we will screw into the back and ship with our package. I've got some at the shop so that they will be hung easily. I buy those on Amazon. You can pick them up at your local hardware store too. I buy them like in 3 packs on Amazon. Some of this transfer is going to chip off because I think it's chippy. Oh, my Costco order is being delivered just in time. Anybody else deliver their groceries? That's the one thing I learned for the pandemic, that you don't actually have to go to the grocery store, which is good because I'm busy. And we were out of milk, and nobody went to the grocery store while Mom was out of town. This is hard, but it's coming off not too bad. I don't know where Zeb went. Pat, hopefully you're patient with the fact that this may not be perfect on the top of this huge bubble. Thank goodness for these new transfers, man. Though this has been a nightmare.
It is a lot easier, huh?
have to text Sally and Josie and be like, thank you.
All right, so that's 31 1/4 wide. How wide are we? Let's center them on this. So let's put a knob there.
All right, these are already touching the top, so these have to go here.
So that's 24 3/8. So what's 24 3/8 divided by 6 or
20.
4, 5? 24
I
3/8.
can't do that. Use my phone. Oh, good, you are. Because 24 divided by 6.
It's
would
just
be
it's
3.
4. 24 divided by 6
Oh,
is
it's 4?
Yeah.
I was doing
So I
this.
think if I bring them in 4 inches, we get one at 16, 8, and 4. Wait, no, 12. I need 5. Okay, so we're gonna go every 6 inches. Math is hard on camera.
I thought that I was
don't
taking.
do it.
I thought I was taking over the hard job, and then I just gave you the harder
22.
job. See how that works there?
All right, so I'm gonna go 2 inches in, and I think that will work.
All right.
Nope, that one got too far over there. All right, hang on. I gotta look at this straight on. That's the problem. Like,
All right. Now I'm going to separate this out and then put the rest in the spot. Just not
I used to have a formula, but I forgot it. I'm like centering knobs and things.
Well, if you did 5, you could find the center and then just pick your distance you want.
Yeah.
But there's 4. So just find the center, go 2 inches, go an inch, and then start there. That's what I would do.
This is like the funnest thing to watch on camera when people do math on a live video.
It should be like bloopers, doing math live on camera. Maybe we need the math tutor. There was a lady on here that said she was a math tutor. I missed the name. Like, can you teach us how to do math? We really need to learn
Alright.
Common Core. Holy moly. Ta-da!
All right, I like that. We're gonna do that.
This one I'm not going to distress because I think some of it's going to chip off. This paint is pretty chippy. Especially the way it is. Oh, this is pretty. All right, I'll seal this one out. Oh, I put my brush in the water already. I'll have to use this other brush. You always want to make sure that you've burnished and pushed down your transfer so you don't have spots chipping up. Careful that sealer's wet on there, sweetie.
Yeah, I saw it. All right, we're gonna drill right there. We're gonna go for it.
I put a lot of sealer on here, so I'm gonna smear it around.
All right, we're almost ready to show you guys what this is gonna look like.
So the sealer kind of sandwiches the transfer top and bottom and just really helps with adherence.
I brought a
Never
drill bit
use a harsh, what?
I brought a drill bit with me. Did you see where I set it?
Nope. Never use a harsh sealer. I don't know how this reacts with other sealers. I just know that whenever anybody has a problem, they use something that wasn't all natural. I only ever use Big Top or Sweet Pickins Top Coat or occasionally Liquid Patina. So if you use another sealer and it's not all natural and it's not something I've used, buyer beware. I'm not saying it won't work, I'm just saying I don't do.
Totally committed now.
Just want to make sure I'm getting it down in all these details.
You know, you always complain, like, when you're in school doing math, like, when am I ever going to use this math? I have used so much math building this house.
True story. I've had to do like,
I'm out of practice.
I've had to do crazy math to figure out how to pay for it. We call it Jami math. How many pieces of junk do I need to sell to pay for the pool that's being installed in my backyard? A lot of pieces of junk. So shop at jrvhome.com. And by
Jack and Redrick are so excited for the pool. They can't hardly stay away from the hole. Those guys are digging out there, and they like want to be right there on the edge watching them.
Yep. They gotta wait for the cover to get put on. All right, you want to?
I'm gonna put these on so they can see if you want to catch some comments, and we'll show you guys up close, and then I think we'll be done.
They're gonna look a little bit different, but that's just because the sealer hasn't dried yet. It will dry completely clear.
And I'll pull these knobs off so that Jami can give it a good distress too. I just wanted to pre-drill
Jami
the
math
holes.
is the best math. Want to visit UK? If we visit UK though, like a lot of people will try to offer us like places to stay. Just to be like safe, we only stay with places that we book. We don't stay at other people's houses. You know, it gets a little crazy, but we may visit the UK. They have good junk there. And we were supposed to go this spring, but that didn't happen.
We went to Round Top instead, which was also fun. That was a really fun trip. Round Top, Texas.
Jen says, I just did this on a window for YouTube and was glad to be able to edit out the math struggles. That happens. Janice says, first time watching us live. Can't believe I caught it. 6:15 here.
All right.
6:15 p.m. Where are you at? Are
PM
you in
or
Hawaii?
AM?
Are you in Europe?
No, Hawaii is early in the morning right now.
Oh.
Okay. So there's that one with knobs. Turned out really cool. And you can see this raised detail here.
So we'll put French cleats on the back so they can hang it on the wall.
And these are big. Let me show you holding
they're
it.
good size.
Like, this is pretty large.
And then here's mine. And this one Pat said doesn't need hooks because she's gonna buy it. So I'm gonna leave it as is, and then I will put a cleat on the back so she has a way to hang it. So if you guys want to buy these paint products, you can hit up jamirayvintage.com, and if you want to buy our finds and painted items, you can go to jrvhome.com. Both those links are in the description, and you can comment with any questions, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. I know sometimes doing DIY projects can be frustrating. You can also always email customercare@jamirayvintage.com, and if Caitlin can't help you, she'll get with us and we'll help you use the products that we have. So thanks guys, hope you have a great Wednesday. Be sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Jami Ray Vintage for more
DIY.
Love you guys, bye. Like and share, all the things.